Okay, here's a video I did not think I'd be making. What I thought would be a day like any other, going down to collect the eggs, and I'm a few paces away from the actual coop to find this. Now, it's obvious what's happened. What probably isn't obvious, and which you cannot see in the video, is the entire coop is just filled with feathers. Which means it wasn't fast. They must have got out and tried to escape. I'm going to presume it's a fox. Here's its point of entry and exit. And I'm going to use an old video to show you where the weak spot was. It's the door entrance, maybe particularly that handle there. I knew it would be the weakest spot because it's where you can't join the two. In order to get into the coop, you need to have the door, and we had the chicken wire that came up about 30 centimeters, but it just wasn't enough. Make sure she doesn't come down. Just to talk you through it, at this point, there's a little girl that lives next door to us whose hamster died, and who quickly got over that because she'd been playing with the chickens. So I didn't really want her to run down to see what we could see. But it's a little clearer now on the video that you can see the extent of the damage, I guess. Just feathers absolutely everywhere. I'm just going to have a little walk around the coop. I don't know what I was looking for at this point, signs of life, or even, I don't know, carcasses. But no, it's, clumps of feathers with bits of skin on it was about as much as I found at this point. Now in a moment we're going to have a look inside the actual chicken coop, and you'll see that it's free of feathers. So my theory is that they actually got out in the morning, usually get up about 5:30, 6, and the attack would have happened then. That way. I mean, the coop's a good 80 meters away from the house, so there's just no chance we would have been able to hear any of this going on. And at this point I just thought I need to empty out the coop and sweep up all the feathers so you can't see that they've been ripped apart. Now all that took place in the morning. I had it all cleaned out by about 12ish, and then I started some electrical works just to take my mind off things, and stumbled across this up by the house. It's a feather. There are some other feathers there, and it was blatantly attached to something. I thought I'd dig away, pull it out. If you don't want to see a dead animal, stop watching now. Yeah, there we have the head of one of my chickens. Wonderful. I think that's possibly either Tika or Nugget because it's darker feathers. It doesn't really matter. I think I'm going to presume that this was not the fox. I don't think he would have come this close to the house. It's probably a cat that has found the head and has buried it to come back for it later. So I'm not too concerned about that, but it did mean that there were possibly organs and other heads around the garden, which we did stumble across as the day went on. And later in the day I went back down there just to sort of think about what potentially could have happened, where it could have gone, how it could have got in. There were signs that it was running around the actual coop. I think it may have found it difficult to get in because there are various marks around the garden. This here looks like the trail in which it ran off with the chickens, taking it back to its burrow. This is just sort of it's part of the next door neighbour's garden, but it's unused, so it grows quite thick. Has berries and crickets and all sorts, which you would have seen in my other videos. There's a patch halfway up where it's just you can see that it sat there for a while. Maybe there was a little bit of a struggle or something, but all of the grass had been flattened in sort of I don't know, about a meter by meter radius. Feathers all over the place. There's possibly something else living here as well that may have taken bits and pieces that were lying about, because we have two huge holes there. Possibly a rat, I'm not sure. I don't know. I might have to set the cam up there, see what we can find, if anything. But then, as you can see, it sort of goes off in that direction. And just beyond there is all bramble. Have had the neighbours said that they've seen a fox down there before because the dog gets quite agitated by it. But again, just looking back, just the power of the fox. I mean, this is chicken wire that was actually stapled in. It was folded over as well, so it's really had to use its jaw to rip at that to tear it open. It's extraordinary, really. It's an opportunity to think about what I would have done differently. Now, there's the weak spot because it's not attached to the door. You remember from an older video, we did 30 or 40 centimeters up the side, and then we laid it down a meter so it couldn't dig under. Well, that was successful because it could not dig under. Only it did find a weak spot in the join between the door and the actual fence, so that's something I'm going to have to modify when I do this again. By the time the fox got here, although you can see the chicken wire on the floor there, it completely grassed over, so there was just no chance it could have dug under it. I think I'd probably put chicken wire on the front and the back of the door, a double layer. I think he was able to manipulate the wiring and pull it out because the pins were on the side of the door facing. So I don't know, maybe that's something else to think of. I am going to set up a cam and see if I can catch it coming back or anything. But yeah, that's the end of the chickens for a little while. Take care, folks.